Hello everyone, it's Karim El-Wardani
and Muhammad Ziada.
with you today, and we're gonna talk about which global issues relate to their eyes were watching God.
To begin with, Karim, what are the global issues that you noticed in the text?
The first global issue I noticed was the disempowerment of women due to them being reduced to their appearance.
What makes this a global issue?
Some statistics I found were that over 6 in every 10 women feel negatively about their bodies. And to add to that, another statistic I found was approximately 91% of women are unhappy with their bodies and resort to dieting to achieve their ideal body shape.
I think this is really clear in society, Karim, and it's really present in society. Until now, from a long time ago, it's really present. Going back to their eyes were watching God, where is this global issue present in the text?
The quote I noticed this in was, quote, "It was like somebody snatched off a part of the woman's clothes while she wasn't looking and the streets were crowded," on page 93.
Okay, I noticed also this part. What's the author's treatment of this global issue?
The narrator amplifies the embarrassment of Jo insulting her body by comparing it to something as harsh as her being stripped naked in public. Therefore, an aggressive mood is created by the description of the incident that happened to her. This demonstrates toxic masculinity and shows the readers how easily a man can easily negatively affect a woman using only his simple yet harsh words. So, Muhammad, what do you think about this global issue and the author's treatment of this global issue?
Well, Karim, I think this global issue is a really present issue, and that males used to have power, and we used it in a toxic way, which made women feel disempowered and always made them feel weak, which is not supposed to happen really, because women are actually the same as men. They do the same stuff, they can do everything, they are created to do the same stuff. I think women should have the same rights as men, and should be no less rightful in the society.
Yes, Muhammad, I completely agree with you. So, moving on, what's another global issue you noticed?
Also, Karim, I noticed one of the global issues that really stood out in this text was marginalization.
What makes you think this is a global issue?
Well, Karim, I think this is a global issue because it is really it's really present now. As black people and males in Florida and across the nation face extraordinary challenges, from becoming targets of hate crimes to navigating a criminal justice system that can involve unfair policing practices, convictions, and even deaths. According to civil rights leaders and members of Congress and federal agencies, as stated by the website Florida Phoenix.
So, Muhammad, where exactly is this global issue present in the text?
I think this global issue is present in the text when quote, the people all saw her come because it was sundown. The sun was gone, but he had left his footprints in the sky. It was the time for sitting on porches beside the road. It was the time to hear things and talk. These sitters had been tongueless, earless, eyeless, conveniences all day long. Quote, this was written on page 1.
So, what's the author's treatment of the global issue you mentioned?
The repetition of the suffix quote less quote emphasizes that they are animal-like, and conveniences is a lexical choice that emphasizes that the sitters can't express themselves. This characterizes the sitters as being unable to express themselves and express their feelings. The theme of marginalization is developed in the story as society tends to exclude certain groups.
Yes, Muhammad, I completely agree with you, and I have noticed this happening throughout the text multiple times. And I also agree with what you said about the author's treatment of this global issue.
So, Karim, aside from these two global issues, do you see any global issues in the text?
Yes, I see that people treat black people differently. Black people are always treated differently than white or other colored people.
From your own perspective, Karim, what makes you think this is a global issue?
So, according to New York Civil Liberties Union, on the stop and frisk data, um, on February 2020, they said that in New York City, 88% of police stops in 2018 involved black and Latin people, while 10% involved 10 people. Of those stops, 70 were completely innocent. So what this statistic basically says is that 70% of the black people who were stopped are innocent. That's a very high rate.
I agree with you, Karim, on what you just said and these statistics, as it happens a lot, and we see it and we hear about it in the United States. Do you remember in the last year the incident that happened with the George Floyd, the black male that was assaulted and was beaten to death?
Yes, I remember this, and I also remember that I read that all the accusations they accused him of weren't real, and he was basically innocent, and they basically killed him for nothing.
No, I heard that he only did a really small crime. I think he robbed a can from a store or something. Nothing really serious. Of course, he was supposed to be arrested and punished for what he did, but not that brutally.
Yes, Muhammad, I agree with you, but even if he robbed the whole bank, no one deserves to die for robbing anything. Even if he robbed the queen herself, yeah, it's just a robbery. He deserves to get put in jail, but not killed.
I think the only barrier between our words is the law. Let's go back to our story. Where is this global issue present in the text, Kareem?
I noticed this when the author said, and I quote, "These sitters had been tongueless, earless, eyeless conveniences all day long. Mules and other brutes had occupied their skins. But now the sun and the boss man were gone. So the skins felt powerful and human. They became lords of sounds and lesser things." Quote.
What do you think the author's treatment of this global issue is?
I think that this suggests that the white people act arrogant towards black people and look down at them. In addition to this sets a tone of arrogance from the woman speaking towards the black people or about them. This implies the critical race theory and shows us the racism that is present throughout the story.
Yes, Kareem, I completely agree with you. And I also noticed black people being treated differently in this text. And also, I have noticed racism a lot. Do you remember, Kareem, when Janie looked at herself in the mirror? She thought she was white because she used to hang out with the Washburns a lot. And she didn't see any difference or notice it. But when she saw a photograph of herself and she knew she was black, she felt really bad. And she felt that she was different. And she couldn't hang out with either the Washburns or the black kids at her school. Because as we call this, the double consciousness, where you don't know which group you belong to.
Yes, Muhammad, I remember this point and I also agree with it. So, moving on, Muhammad, did you notice any global issues aside from the three we already mentioned?
Regarding global issues, I also saw judging people and noticed it, judging people and being judgmental.
So, what makes this a global issue?
According to Love Life website, asking why someone is still single and assuring them they'll find their person soon may seem like thoughtful, even sensitive, ways to check in on single friends. However, these simple phrases constitute single shaming, and they're likely to be more harmful than helpful.
Where exactly is this global issue present in the text?
This was present on, I quote, "They passed nations through their mouths. They sat in judgment." Quote. This was on the second page of the book.
So, Muhammad, what's the author's treatment of this global issue?
Well, they refers to a group of people, not an individual, and sat in judgment shows how judgment is in the air and everywhere around them. This emphasizes how these groups of people all think together and feel together and speak together and judge together. The theme of judgment is developed as the people were ganging and making groups and criticizing and judging others who were not in the group.
Yes, Muhammad, I completely agree with you.
Thanks, Kareem, and thank you everyone for hearing us out today.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.